Hi, it's Jan Johnson, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really glad that you did. And today what I want to talk about is sponsorship and making sure that you have the right sponsor for you in the business. Now, before you have a heart attack and go, oh my gosh, what do I do now? I'm already in, I have a sponsor, what's she going to do? Tell people to go get a different sponsor? No, just listen in for a second. The first thing I want to share with you is that we always talk about the fact that you're the one that is important in this business. You're the one that has to do it, not your sponsor, not your upline, not the company, it's you. And that is so true. But nonetheless, sponsorship can be very important, and how you look at that sponsorship can be important. So first of all, I want to tell you about my story. My story is that when I started the first network marketing company, Abergadian, I was an executive at IBM. I did it on a whim, and the person who brought me into the business was a person who had worked for me before at IBM. She didn't know anything about network marketing either. She brought me into the business, and do you know what? She was perfect for me at the time. I wouldn't have even thought about seeking out a different sponsor or investigating the company in that regard and finding out the right kind of sponsor and then telling her, no thanks, I'm going to go to somebody else. I never would have done that. And you know what? I shouldn't have done that because she was perfect for me. Even though she didn't know anything that she was talking about really in the business either, she was so encouraging to me. She kept on saying to me, Jan, you are going to be awesome in this. Jan, you are going to just run the entire company, practically, she would say. She was phenomenal in the way she treated me. There was never any problems with the fact that I moved fast. She knew I was making her money. She loved that. And she was a go-getter too. So it worked out perfectly for me. And I would venture to say that anybody who's come into network marketing, your first venture into network marketing is probably a very similar thing. You get into network marketing, and either the person you brought in is good or isn't, but you learned from that sponsorship. And you learned either that you can do it yourself, or you learned that they dropped out and you stayed in. If you're still in after your first venture, then now you are learning other things since then. Maybe you've gotten to a place where the company that you're with isn't really giving you the satisfaction that you wanted. Maybe the products aren't what you wanted, maybe the company plan isn't what you wanted, or maybe the company went by the wayside. So now you are in a position to seek out a different company and therefore a different sponsorship. And what I'm saying to you is that in the process of considering where you go for your next venture, remember, you should treat this as a professional and treat this business of yours as a profession. And so when you're looking for what company to go to next, make sure that you're considering the sponsor as well. I a lot of times hear people that say, oh, they want to go with the number one person in the company, and they'll seek out and find the number one person in the company, only to be disappointed because that person then doesn't have enough time for them that they need for where they're at in their knowledge of the network marketing industry. So maybe if you're trying to learn about a company and you've been in maybe a couple different ones, maybe you want to find somebody who's really into the company, who's moving up and is very supportive, and you see them building good teams. They're not necessarily the number one, but you know you can work with them and learn from them. If you are a top earner that has stood on stage and has really made a significant amount of money, then remember, you always want to go the next time when you're considering the product and the compensation plan and the company, etc. Consider what sponsor you are choosing, because you want to make sure they stretch you. If they are awesome on stage and have brought in thousands of people in their downline, and they want you to succeed on stage as well, you can learn from them. But maybe if you're great on stage, you want to have somebody that's really good for you that can do the computer stuff that you need to have done if you're going to do some online marketing, because you're not really good at that. So you want to figure out a sponsor who knows how to connect you with that kind of thing. All I'm saying is that consider your talents and consider the talents of the people you're seeking out. If it's not your first introduction and a family or a friend that's introduced you to something, then if that's the case and you're there, relish the sponsor that you have, learn from that situation, help them as you're helping yourself, and grow and learn together if they want to too, and you will build your story. That is a sponsorship story that you're building no matter which way it turns out. But as you move through the profession and stay with this for years and years and maybe find yourself seeking out a different company, consider these things that I'm telling you about sponsorship. And if this video helped you, please comment and share. I love helping you build your stories. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really glad that you did.